Welcome to Discussions of Music, Healing, and Consciousness with your hosts, Chris Noble and Bill Paratzman. On this podcast, Chris and I offer a spontaneous, ongoing conversation about how music is intertwined with healing and consciousness. Our first season helped lay the foundation and build some of the superstructure for what we want to do here in Season 2, where we'll be welcoming some intriguing guests, going deeper into ancient mysteries and wisdom, and cultivating your background knowledge and curiosity. We hope these discussions will inspire your own study and practice of the musical and healing arts, and that your contribution to advancing world consciousness will be satisfying for you and transformative to those around you. Let's get started. Grey's Anatomy, a bunch of commercials. He's been around a while, and Sleeping Last is his other appearance. Like his stuff. He does his stuff.
Okay. Was that a cover of Chasing Cars? That's what it said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's got some covers, got some originals.
Very cool.
Interesting voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. One that it came to my awareness because my oldest stepdaughter wants to use a song called Saturn in her wedding, and I discovered this whole series of things that Sleeping at Last has done called Atlas, and they've got songs for all the planets, and they've got songs for every number in the Enneagram, and it's like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So how have you been, man? Welcome back. Welcome home.
Well, Bill. Yeah, thank you. It's been a really great summer. It's just been I think it's going to be the new kind of situation for me, which is especially as touring musicians, when you're, the performance time is the summertime. I mean, like, of
Yeah.
course, there's many times throughout the year to be doing stuff, but when it comes to concentrated festivals and just really bouncing around, it is the best time to do it. And so it's intense, but it's really, really fun. And I'm exhausted in the best way. You know, when you have like a
Yeah.
costume, but you're like, oh, but it's so good.
Yeah. I get it, man. So where did you go?
Mostly all around
Geographic.
West Coast Canada.
Okay.
So British Columbia and Alberta, essentially. But we did start off July in Ontario, in the very northern little town, at a festival there, which was really fun for Canada Day, and kicked it off there. And this is my first time flying with my piano, so I had to, figure out the oversized luggage, situation. And
Seriously.
that was, yeah, I had to get a new case for it, but it was kind of nice too, because it means like I'm buying that was kind of a symbol of more things to come, right? More
Right.
travel with that. And it was great. It's just super jam packed. We played I think 4 festivals, which was really fun. Makes me kind of now not really ever want to go to a festival as an attendee. When you get the backstage passes because you're an artist, and you get access to literally everything. I mean, we actually had they had free massage, free masseuses as well, which was amazing backstage. So every day we were like first guys there. Me and my buddy who I was touring with, Tennyson King, like we were in line, the first guys there, like, hey, get my time slot for the massage today.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that if I were touring right now, I'd be schlepping all my gear. So a massage would be a very nice thing to have.
It's actually huge. Like some of these festivals they're really lovely with the care. They clearly really care about the artists, and they do everything they can to really make your life easier. And getting from one stage to another stage, because at the festivals we typically would have at least 2 performances each day.
Yeah.
So like smaller stages during the day for like workshops, and then workshops kind of meaning like you're with other musicians and you share the stage, and like you play your song, they play their song. But the cool thing is if you get the right mix of musicians, they'll all be like, hey, do you want to play on my song? And then
Nice.
like you're meeting these musicians, all like top notch musicians, for the first time ever, and you're already just playing on their songs. And before you even exchange names, you're having like the musical telepathic conversation, and it's so fun. Like you get these, I was playing on other people's songs, and they'd be like, yeah, nice solo, man, and I'm like, cool, dude. And you just have these beautiful connections that all come from that universal language of music. And it was just yet another reminder of, yeah. And I was talking to one of the musicians about this. He's like, oh, I love meeting people through music, because it's like you cut through all of the masks that we wear in society and in social situations without even knowing it, not even like purposely. And then here you are like playing music together, and it's just like boom, I feel like I know you already, and I haven't even got your name, but I already feel a bond because of our musical experience we just had together. So
I
it's
get
just
that. Yeah.
it was just like a whole summer of daily reminders of the power of music.
That is so cool. I'm still on the geography here, but can you just like riff on a couple of the festivals you went to?
Yeah, so one of my highlights was the Vancouver Island Music Festival, which was obviously it's on Vancouver Island, and the whole island comes to that one. So it's usually gets about 20, 25,000, 30,000 people to that one. There's like five stages, and it's right by this gorgeous river too. So in between, your sets and stuff, you can go in for a little dip in this alpine glacier, fed river. Perfect kind of weather. Musicians from all over, some American, Canadian, um, one band from Korea that was amazing. They were like heavy metal, traditional Korean classical music fusion. They kind of
Whoa,
sound,
hold on a second.
yeah, they the best. They sound a lot like the band Tool, if
Oh
you
yeah,
remember.
okay,
They sound like Tool, but with traditional Asian Eastern instruments like the
got it.
zither. And oh my God, they're a three-piece. They were a monster band. They were so cool. I got to chat with them a bit backstage. They're amazing. And another group from the Netherlands were there too. So I got to meet like some really wonderful people from all over the world. And just again, like you're meeting these people from all over the world, but what do you have in common? You have music in common, and it's this beautiful way to. It's just such an amazing way to connect. Like even just these people I met for one night at a festival, I feel like I became very close friends with just in that one night because of the music that we got to share and the creativity. So that was a huge highlight for sure.
I love this because in the audience it's happening too,
I know.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being there with that kind of an intention, or at least being there with that kind of awareness, has got to be so powerful.
And I feel like with festivals, what I've really appreciated now is there's this frequency of love and joy that emanates from everybody because as the people that are just going to the festival, that's their vacation. This is like a big festival weekend getaway where they're
Yeah.
on vacation mode already, so they're in a great state. And then all the musicians are in there, perfect because we're playing at festivals. We're getting these big audiences. This is the dream come true for us. And then the people working the festival are huge music um, lovers and just want to make our lives as easy as possible. And then we get to make friends with them and have wonderful connection with all the crew. And it's just everyone involved in one way or another. It's just we're all absolutely in love with what's happening, and we're just all happy to be there. And being in that energy is extremely uplifting. Feels like a very
Yeah.
delicious mushroom trip or something
Yes.
without
Yes.
the psilocybin. It's a really wonderful feeling.
What an incredible thing. For people who don't know, tell us a little about Tennyson King.
Oh, so he's a singer-songwriter from Canada, and he's a good friend of mine. He's originally born in Hong Kong, so he brings like an interesting Eastern element to what you call traditional Western folk music, folk rock, like John Mayer, Bon Iver, Jack Johnson, like that kind of vibe. But his music's very uplifting. The songs are really all about um, either nature or self-reflection. And one song as an example is called "Don't Know Where I'm Going, but I Know That I'm Right Here." And so it's all about being in the present, and we always usually finish the concert with that, and everyone's singing "Don't know where I'm going, but I know that I'm right here," and just getting a whole chorus of people singing that. Like we do a lot of sing-alongs. One of our songs that we do is also we because of my background's in dance, and I know it's been influencing Tennyson because we're going to be playing on each other's music. So he was wanting to incorporate more dance stuff now into his folk music. So we did that for one of the songs, and we kind of remixed it into a dance song, and we get people to do a dance competition during that as well, which is really cute. So you have sometimes have the kids or adults, whoever, just running up on the stage, and we get everyone to dance. And so we're very like the show's a very audience participation heavy kind of rock and roll show basically. And yeah, I mean he tours the world constantly, so he's a classic nomadic musician who's just he's either touring in Australia, Southeast Asia, or all over Canada and a bit of the UK. And we're hoping that now that he's got some good following now in the UK, we're gonna hopefully perform there in 2024. So
Sweet.
he's a good friend from college, and it's just such a fun thing to be, like 12 years later, kind of going, wow, look at where we are now, you know?
Seriously, I know. And look at the importance of the work you're doing. It's so incredible to inspire people toward connection, toward love, toward community in a way that, maybe Woodstock got us started back in the day, or maybe before that. But, you know, hey, people, we're back.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. Music, it's interesting because we've also during these festivals and some of these concerts we were performing, we'd also be hosting separately meditation workshops, music meditation workshops. So Tennyson also has a zhorong, which is a traditional Chinese guitar. Basically, it translates into, I think, Cantonese, meaning medium-sized guitar, which is what zhorong means. But it's also known as a moon guitar. It looks kind of like a lute or a bulbous half moon, half a sphere type of body
Yeah,
guitar.
I can picture that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you saw it, you're like, oh, I've seen that, like, maybe around the world music scene and stuff. It's a very ancient Chinese instrument, and he plays that through some beautiful, lush reverbs and delays, while I play my piano and synthesizer, and we tune them both to 432 hertz, and then we lead a meditation workshop, which we were really getting amazing response, equally as positive as the concerts. The meditation workshops were a huge hit, and we would do them during the day at the festival. And what we got back as one of the main comments was it was so great to have this like recharge during the day that not only the audience would get, but then the people, the crew that were working the meditation, doing our sound, also got like revived. So they felt after, they're like, whoa, we need to have this every day at the festivals just so that people can like recharge for the shows later in the evening. It's very practical, actually. It was really fun to get people into the meditation, and we were able to bring a lot of newbies and a lot of people that are very unaware of that side of life, and we could kind of get them in through music
Yeah.
and kind of like a gateway. So it was really cool to see how popular that was. It just shows you where we're at, I think, with some of these modalities. So that was also a really cool discovery.
So, tell us about some like crazy things that happened while you were performing on stage.
Well, so many fun things. I mean, on a performance side, like there's really lovely things that we had with some of the meditations, but on the performance, the concert sides, some of the really fun things too are, one show we played in a place called Revelstoke, just surrounded by mountains. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And we would play in the downtown of the city, so all of the music that we were playing would be bouncing off all the buildings of the downtown, so everyone in the city could hear us, which was really cool. And so we had a lot of tourists and a lot of just locals all coming to the stage, and we had basically this closed off downtown street, and everyone started to dance. And then we had quite extreme wind during our sound check, so much so that it created like a whole dust storm. It looked like we were in a tornado, so we had to cover our gear, and we were like, I don't know what's going to happen during the show, but we'll see what happens. And then as the show comes in, the wind basically blew a bunch of storm clouds over, and it started to rain. We were covered, thankfully. And we look out at everyone else, and we're like, oh, okay, the rain's going to clear everybody out. Nope. The rain actually just made everyone basically get up off their seats and start to dance and run around in the rain.
Nice.
And then it just created like this magical moment of like everyone's just drenched, wet. Who cares? It's the summer, running around in the rain, kids screaming and having a great time, all the people just dancing. And it was like this euphoric, beautiful moment of just people just enjoying life. And you turn one situation into what would be maybe considered a negative situation, you turn it into a real positive situation. So we just finished the last like 5 songs and drenched in the rain, and it felt so magical, like just the energy of everyone and people embracing the weather and not getting freaked out by the rain. And that was really magical. I love that.
Oh,
um
I want to be there.
yeah, like we're hopefully going to come down to the States soon. It was just sometimes it is challenging for Canadians to come down to the States to tour, much as it is for American musicians to come to Canada, all because of the both on both ends, customs kind of suck. And
Yeah,
when you're trying to bring in your equipment and your merchandise to sell, and you have to apply for work visas to do all that too. So it's just there's just so many more hoops to jump through. But we're definitely going to come down there because especially into California, I know there's quite a few people that I think our music would mesh really well with, especially with the meditation workshops, as you know,
definitely.
would
Yes.
really use beautifully. Of course, we'd have to do something collaboratively.
We would have to, yeah.
Have to. We feel wrong to not, to be there, not.
What I love so much is that this whole thing has gone out way far outside the yoga studio. Healing music used to be one of those things like that only the insiders would go to, the yoginis and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's just so blown outside of that. And uh, tons of music festivals. I mean, we have a Cajun festival here in San Diego, of all things. We have a Cajun and Blues festival here on Mother's Day every year. But the the welcoming that exists for these kinds of things is so incredible right now. And they're standing them up in public parks. It's really incredible to see the opportunity that music has now that it didn't have maybe even just as recently as before the pandemic.
Absolutely. And in what's even more encouraging or equally as encouraging are there's more musicians that are getting into this. Not nothing against sound healers, but obviously as a sound healer, that's kind of, your focus,
Yeah.
obviously.
Well, you
Um,
walk both worlds, so you understand it. For both sides.
Exactly. And for, we are still doing, I mean, what I'm doing and what I'm doing with Tennyson King is a very unique thing. And at the same time, it's really great to see that it is catching on. And there's other musicians. We met an amazing guitar player from this fantastic Torontonian Motown soulful R&B artist, Tanika Charles. She put on one of the best sets of the whole summer that I saw. Her band was just amazing. One of those bands where you're just like, I can't stop watching you guys. You're so tight, but so tasteful, like just so tasteful in everything you're doing. They're an amazing band. The lead guitarist from that band I got chatting with backstage, and he told us, he's like, oh, we told him about our workshops, and he's like, oh my god, yeah, I'm doing this whole thing with like a bunch of these like some Indian musicians and some
Cool.
Tibetan and a couple of other, and they do like a 10-piece band sound bath, but it's very
Yeah.
more on the music side. It's still like a performance, not necessarily a meditation workshop, but they're doing it with the healing purposes in keeping them in mind. But then he has this other project that it really blew my mind, where he goes around with another musician to schools all across Canada and does these talks on mental health and music. And actually the guy that leads them was like, suicidal for a lot of his life, and then got through that with the help of music, and then takes that and brings that to all these schools, and he's accumulated a list of over like 300 suicide letters that he's been given by kids and teachers, believe it or not, who have listened to what he has said, have gone to those workshops, and basically saved their lives through music and through the just talking about mental health. And so this guitarist, is a part of that. I don't even know, collect whatever initiative, organization, whatever that is. And just the work he told me about that gave me goosebumps. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
again, talk about the music. Like, what an amazing. Oh, like if anything, I've just fallen deeper in love with music after
Right.
this.
It's
How do you
such a
not?
it's such a crazy, incredible modality. To be buried inside of music therapy as a clinical intervention is just only so little of it,
Tiny
right?
fraction of what you can be doing. Tiny
But that
fraction.
said, there's another initiative up in Canada called Room 217, and they empower caregivers with music to care for people who are in clinical situations, of course. But it's really spreading out, and I know you can get like a certification as a musical caregiver through Room 217. Um, I'll post it, like the notes, so people can find them because they're incredible. They are really incredible, and they've done more to raise awareness for music care, I think, than any other organization out there in the world.
That's so great.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm beyond reassured now after this last month. It's just also, I mean, meeting so many people every single day. You really get to, I for myself at least, I got to kind of feel like I plugged back into humanity a bit, and
yeah,
just got a sense of like where are we at as a species. And I'm pretty reassured. I really think, despite what the TV and the news might tell us, I think we're in good hands. I really think a lot of people recognize what needs to shift and change. And, one of those big things is our health, and, approaching our health from a different perspective of just, treating as we do in Western medicine, right? Just throw some pills and injections at the problem. It's like, no,
Right.
I
Yeah.
think I think we can go a lot deeper than that, and music is actually one of the best tools, and everyone kind of already knows it. And I think what's happening is there's this awakening. Of course, there's so many other modalities too, and they're awakening to that as well. But music being one of the forefront, music and sound, right?
Right. Right.
Being at the forefront. I would talk about, at these meditation workshops, I'd always bring up the story of when I first got out of college, playing these old age homes, these senior homes, and seeing how music would cut through Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and just boom, like animated people out of their
Right.
wheelchairs. I mean, I felt like an actual magician, and I would share those stories, and it would remind people. They're like, yeah, yeah, they've all heard that too, and they're like, I think everyone's had a magical music experience at some point in their life, and once you start to remember that, you're reminded that, wow, like music's actually saved my life in some aspects, or it's at least brought me out of a really tough situation. And I don't think any amount of chemicals from any substance, antidepressant or anything, could do the same, you know.
The wonderful thing about music is that it goes beyond the fix, you know? Yeah, you can use it to fix stuff, but it has this invitation for so much more, right? It's like
Yeah.
those people dancing. The clinical approach is put up an umbrella and they'll be dry. And their approach is we don't care whether we're wet or dry, we're dancing.
We're living.
We're living, living life.
And I think we're getting back in touch with how we used to be. I think it's also like there's a
Yeah.
remembrance, because obviously from so many indigenous cultures, music is such a no-brainer, and
Yeah.
it's integrated into all
Oh, I love
aspects.
that you said that because it isn't a brainer at all.
Yeah.
It's literally not a brainer. It's an everything elser.
It's a healer.
It's a healer. Yeah.
Healer, it's a healer, it's all those things, and yeah, I mean, wow, I'm just so inspired. I think that's really the main word I would come back feeling is from all this, is just massively inspired on so many levels. Very reassured with people,
Yeah.
which is not always the case, so that's a nice way to feel.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but putting yourself in that environment for a month. So are you going to go out again soon? What's your vision?
Yeah, well, I think we it was a very successful tour, so we got a lot of good future opportunity from all of that, which was really really great. We're going to be playing four more shows at the end of beginning of September of this summer, just to kind of cap that off, and then I go over to Egypt after
Right.
that
Right.
for a 2 week tour, for more of the ancient mystery side of things. However, music and sound integrate into all that stuff too. So I'll be getting a
Yeah.
lot of really amazing inspiration from there as well. And then after that, we're gonna I might be doing another tour, a small week-long tour with Tennyson King in the fall, and then we're really hoping to start booking for 2024. The UK is one definite spot. We're hoping to get about a month over there. I really want to perform in Europe so badly. I don't know how that could look, but I did meet some people that might be able to do some stuff there. So I'm also looking to expand more in my dance music, and also get more meditations. Like I think these meditation workshops are. We got a lot of really good opportunity from that. So there's a lot of yoga studios now wanting to have us come in for a special event, and we'll see what happens. But music goes with every healing modality. That's what I love. You can
Yeah.
really, it's like I don't know, I'm thinking of things like culinary wise, like what coconut oil you can put with anything, it's
Right.
sort of like
Yes. It's
that.
the
Like
same kind of thing, right?
it just mixes with any modality. You just
Yeah.
do it a little differently this way if it's a yoga thing versus, maybe just a sound healer thing, or a straight up meditation, whatever it is, or a breath work event. I mean, it can go with so many different things. So again, the beautiful thing with music is that, I can imagine you doing piano for a yoga session. It would be incredible. Just that alone, right? Like I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
I
It's
used to do that
so,
live.
oh, you did?
Yeah, I brought the keyboard and yeah, I'd play for live yoga sessions.
Yeah.
And it was a blast.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be so beautiful. It'd be
Yeah.
the live music component is really special. That's what I was noticing too with that, where it's it's nothing that you could ever recreate in any other way, and I think people really get that. It becomes a special event.
Yes, yes.
It really
Much
does.
different than running a track,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love it when there's a DJ in the house,
Oh yeah. That's
but
great
it's
too.
not really the same thing as the band, you know.
No, no, it's just different. I wouldn't even say one's better than the other. I think they one is a different type of event than the other. That's all it really is.
Right.
Like, I look forward to doing some more DJing for ecstatic dances, as an example, and some more opportunities came up for that as well. And that sounds, like the DJ stuff has its place, and I love that place. Like I can't wait to do more of that stuff because we were doing a lot of the, meditation's great, like afternoon time. We did do an evening one on a Sunday evening once as well, but mostly afternoon, daytime. And then, Tennyson King's folk rock. So he's a great afternoon, evening kind of music. But then my music, being electronic dance, is more like a, 9 to midnight time
Yeah.
slot. And then I also have the DJ stuff, which is midnight to like 3 or something in that ballpark. So between the two of Tennyson King and myself, we've kind of got this like full day now of music ready to go.
Seriously.
And I'm really looking forward to that because we did all of his music this summer, which was awesome. And I look forward to now bringing more of my music in, which he has every intention of doing as well. So it's beautiful. It's all organic. It's just a great example of, man, when you're doing the things you love, a lot of beautiful things really come together without any kind of planning or organization. And I was also pleasantly reminded of just that when you're in your passion and you're playing and literally playing, like just being your inner child and having so much fun, it is contagious and people feel that, and opportunities literally just like magnetize to you.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to experience that law of attraction in real time as well.
I'm lit up for you, man. This is such an incredible month that you've had. Of course, this is going to drop sometime in August. So this is all July.
This is July.
Uh, Hit me with a couple of links. We can throw them in for the September stuff that's coming up
Absolutely.
because we'll
Yeah.
catch people that way. And so, do you and Tennyson have a band name yet?
Well, no, because it's all his music. So we've just
Yeah,
been performing as Tennyson King, and I'm basically his backing band. We had a drummer join us for the last 3 shows as well, which was really fun. But the band is Tennyson King at this point. We were
got it.
joking when we did the meditation workshops. People were saying one of the names that came across because they're like, "Yeah, you guys." Basically, we would perform as Tennyson King and Chris Noble because that's just simple. But they're like, you should have a band name called what was it, Noble and King. I'm like, oh, it's not
Ooh,
actually that bad. That's
that's not
kind of cool,
bad.
right? Noble and King, very royal
Yeah.
sounding. Not that we're at all aristocratic in any kind of way,
Well,
but
that's part of the beauty of it, right?
yeah, that's like the irony or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have a band name. I think if anything, we're probably gonna just continue to tour around as Tennyson King and Chris
Mm.
Noble because we'll also have our own sets. He'll have the Tennyson King set, folk rock. I'll have Chris Noble set, electronic dance, and then we go from there. So no band name yet, but that's
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah, so I'll send you all the links, and anyone that's listening, feel free to check it all out. And at the end of the day, the best way to support either of us is just to, like, listen to us on Spotify. That's what I was learning this summer. Even though we don't really make any money from that, it is the best way for people to just kind of get to know you, the artists and the music. Like, just stream it, like follow us and stream it. We'd appreciate it.
Speaking of that, I wonder if we could just sort of play some Tennyson King here.
Oh.
Got it.
Spent all my money on a moving bed, with my whole life in the back. I'm coming up on empty. I'm a rubber track, burning time alone. Made a right, left before you got too close. It's a golden stamp on a postcard I sent home. I'm a rubber track, time to move on. I'm already gone. to me. Got 3 more towns to flee. And that's when it hit me. I'm a rubber track, burning time alone. Made a right, left before you got too close. It's a golden stamp on a postcard I sent home. I'm a rubber tramp, time to move on. I'm already gone. I'm trying to find a place where I belong. I'm trying to find a place where I belong. I'm trying to find a place where I belong. I'm a rubber tramp, burning time alone. Made a right, left before you got too close. I'm a rubber tramp, burning time alone. Made a right, left before you got too close. It's a golden stamp on a postcard I sent home. I'm a rubber tramp, and it's time to move on.
Sorry for me not to sing my backups for that. I'm like remembering the performance we do. That's his more stripped down song. Like other songs are more rock and roll. Like you can hear the drums and all that stuff. That's a more acoustic. But I just like the vibe of that one. It's nice.
Yeah, it's got a good vibe.
Got a nice
Got,
feel.
got a good hit the road kind of vibe, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a sunny day driving somewhere beautiful. You know.
All you digital nomads out there can relate.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean that's been my July. Yeah, it's been so reassuring, Bill. And I mean, I think as musicians and as artists, you can really sometimes go through like, what am I doing? You know, kind of
Sure.
moments in your career, right? And if there's ever some reassurance that we are definitely on a beautiful path and doing, I think, I wouldn't say the right thing, but what's right for us personally as artists. I could never give up music, especially after this kind of a month. Just like
Yeah.
you
Touches
just,
so many lives.
it's so, even on the small level that we were doing, we're not big time acts yet, but even on the small scale, you know, we just got so much amazing feedback from so many people, and you don't even know who you're really touching with that music, and sometimes you'll never know, but it is extremely powerful. You know, just like even the people that you don't hear about, you don't even know what you did for them that day. That could have been really important moment for them, and that's just the amazing thing of art in general, and what we can do as creators, you know.
I wish I could have been there, fly on the wall.
Yeah, and soon enough. This
Soon
is
enough.
if anything, this is just ramping up for a lot more to come. So,
Definitely, man. Oh, I'm so happy for you. What an incredible trip.
well, thank you. And you know, what about you for this summer? Like, are you going to be doing any performances, any sing-alongs in the park, any of your that amazing project with your those Tibetan bowls and
You know, we did a sing along that I'll share. Everything else is happening. Um, Dion, who I perform with, is headed to France for 2 months. So after September or something like that, I won't see her until the beginning of 24.
okay.
But we did the sing along. So in San Diego, I don't know if any of you have heard of the controversy surrounding this big cross we have up on a hill. It's a memorial, and it's a memorial for military. So there's this giant cross. It's probably 30 feet high, and a flag, of course. And then surrounding it on this hill are all of these plaques of people who've served in the military. Bob Hope is up there, I think. Is it Bob Hope? There's
Wow.
anyway. There's a lot of famous people up there. Lots not so famous people, living as well as deceased, and there are thousands of them. And you know, there was a big kerfuffle because why should we have a cross? You know, in this place. And it was solved when some private people paid to purchase the land, basically where the cross is. So now, because it's owned privately, they can do anything they want. Anyhow, we were invited to come up there and do a sing along, which we did. And it was so amazing because standing on this hill, you have a 360-degree view of San Diego. I mean, you can see all the way from the southern Orange County hills, which are probably 40 miles away in one direction, to the mountains in Mexico, which are probably 20 or 30 miles away in the other direction, and then
Wow.
way out to the mountains, but above Borrego Springs in the desert. And if on a clear day, you could see clear up to the San Gabriels, and you could see Baldy and San Jacinto. And anyway, it wasn't clear, but it was beautiful. And just being up there and singing is like you described. It's you're in the atmosphere, and you're just there. And what an incredible thing that was. So that happened, and it was such a trip, man, to be doing that. I never would have thought I'd be doing that, right?
I feel like people are getting so creative now with what we can do with events and music and like the way like places that to perform are becoming even more eclectic now. Because what happened, especially what's really what I'm finding is interesting is like the pandemic, especially, but it was already happening before the pandemic. A lot of venues were getting closed down. Live music was starting to just like again it's that classic thing like there's just no I guess with when it comes to government and major corporations, the arts are always the complete bottom of the barrel of
Seriously, man. Yeah.
what gets money. But then at the same time, there's been this resurgence with like different types of venues, different types of concerts, hybrid kind of events, and
Yep.
weird, cool collaborations. And then all of a sudden, you're just seeing music being done in these weird, different locations and different people stepping up to then be like, all right, traditional old school ways of performing and venues and all that stuff aren't going to be doing what they can do anymore. We'll do it ourselves.
Yep.
We'll just do it ourselves,
Just do
right?
it ourselves. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, or believe it or not, you can still like do it for low cost and still pay the musicians
Oh,
because you
no.
just crowdsource it.
What's it cost to go to Taylor Swift now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. And hey, I'd be happy to play at $35 a seat,
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah,
nothing. So
yeah,
yeah, bring it on.
yeah. Bring it on. And it's like it's really cool. Like I'm actually going to be going in a week and a half from now. When I go back to Ontario, I'm visiting my family, but I'm also going to play one festival that my aunt actually organized with a small city about 2 hours north of Toronto. It's right on this beautiful Georgian Bay, big lake of ours, and it's a beach town, and there's a river that goes through it, and she's actually doing this festival that's actually gotten the whole city is like backing her financially, and it's like a proper festival, and it's called Rock in the River. And what she's done is she positions different musicians on the riverside, and then the audience is in canoes and kayaks, and they come down the river and listen for about 15 to 20 minutes, so it's a shorter set because you're in the water, right, and you're floating down, and then you go float down some more, paddle down some more, and you get the next artist and then the next artist, and it's this amazing way of capturing seeing live music, but you're on the water now. And so it's just another example of how we're evolving. I think one aspect of music is kind of dying, but a whole other part of it's now a rebirth of something totally new and different.
You're making me think of that crazy scene in Portlandia. Did you ever watch that show?
I've seen a couple of episodes. It was pretty funny.
The canoe dance, where he's out on the river in the canoe, like doing this. I don't know what you would call it. Really weird version of dance, and it's hilarious. And there are people on the shore watching him. So she's reversing that.
Reverse, yeah, exactly. The reversal of that, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it sounds like it's going to be much better than the Portlandia spoof was.
let's hope so. Yeah. But it's like I'm sure that experience. I mean, just the way you describe the view from the top of that hill that you're on.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
like
Yeah.
that alone, right, is almost like a spiritual experience. And then to have the music and then the sing along and everyone's singing. I mean, wow, that's
Oh yeah. And we had
uh,
people dancing, tour vans come up there, and the whole tour van showed up, and we were just warming up. Had the bows set up and playing some music, and they said, "Can you turn it up? Let's play some dance music." And they were videoing each other dancing around, singing. We had spontaneous karaoke happening.
yes.
So yeah, right. People want that. It's like it's been too
People
long.
It's been too long. We got to live again. Quality of life is just as important as preservation of life. And like we really we like to live. Like
Yeah,
we need to express. Expression's so important, and in all senses, whether it's dancing, singing, listening to music, creating music, all of those things. That's what makes us human.
totally. So before we go, drop some wisdom on us. Wisdom from the tour.
Wisdom from the tour. Well, like I said before, I mean, I'm so inspired by everybody, by the artists and the musicians that I met that gave me so many ideas I never would have thought of. But then the people too. I think what I've really come back with is just this, like humans are not that complicated. I think we really can get pigeonholed into a lot of this divisive things that we see when we go onto the internet or we watch the news or on social media. But when you take yourself out of those things for just a moment and just plop a bunch of humans together, what do we want? We just want to be free. I just don't tell me what to do. Like, I just want to live my life the way I want to live it. I just want to eat some nice food, have some nice drinks with my family, with my friends, with my community, listen to some good music, simple things. Just be among nice people, have some laughs, have some good conversation, you know. That's it. Like, we don't actually need that much as a species, and the happiness and the deep joy and fulfillment that I got to see from all of these people when we're just experiencing live music for a little bit. It was quite clear to me that it's really not that complex. I think we complicate a lot of things more than they need to be. I think if we just literally can give people the space and the peace to just go and live their own individual lives, I think we'll be absolutely fine, because we all just want to coexist peacefully together, even if we don't agree with how each other go about life. That's fine. That's actually, like, diversity is important. I think we just need to find where we do all get along. We all love music. We all love good food. We all love good company, good conversation, and just being kind and respectful to one another. And that's literally it. And that's what we kept promoting with our music. And it seemed to translate into the audience afterwards. And we just got all these beautiful mixes of people all coming together, all appreciating the same things, even though we're all from very different walks of life. So I just feel very, like, kind of more bonded to humanity, and more um, a lot more faith, I would say, has been restored for us as a species. We're a good species. I think we get manipulated and twisted around to be all, like, fighting amongst ourselves, but ultimately I think there's so much good in the human species that I feel pretty excited for the future.
I love it. There it is. So good food, good music, kindness,
The things
simplicity.
we've always had. The things we've always had.
Yeah,
There's nothing new here.
yeah. It doesn't take a lot of hard work. It's a no-brainer, people.
It is. Minimal brains, please.
Minimal brains, please check your brain. No, not really, but you know what I mean.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah. But and so, and before we head off to Bill, what do you have coming up for you said you had some other things, in August, September
oh my
coming up?
gosh. Yeah. I mean, too many to mention, man. I
Yeah.
am I am overwhelmed. Consciousness is coming, people, and it's improving. So,
That's
lead,
exciting.
follow, or get out of the way.
The train of consciousness is coming, and you ain't gonna
Yep.
stop it.
Yeah. What is that song? People get ready. There's a train a coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Don't don't need no don't need no baggage. Just hop on board. I got to look at that. That's an old spiritual. I love that song.
That's classic. That's great.
Thank you, brother. What an incredible, opportunity to share vicariously in your journey.
Well, thanks for asking, and it was actually fun just to talk to you about it, because I got back last night from all of that, so I haven't even had any time to this was my therapeutic
Oh, I love it.
processing of the summer. So thanks for asking everything, Bill,
Oh my
and for
gosh.
everyone listening. I'm glad you enjoyed that little,
Yeah. Thanks for being
section.
here with us. This is like, the synthesis of Chris's July.
Yeah, well, it's two musicians coming together, talking shop, and this is the fun thing about the creative lifestyle, and I love sharing it with people, because I think it is inspiring. I think I enjoy listening to this kind of stuff, so I just wanted to spread those vibes, and it sounds like you've been having a very similar magical kind of summer with
Oh my
lots
gosh.
coming up.
Yeah. And hey, thank you, Tennyson, for sharing your song with us.
Yes, thank you, Tenny, my good friend, and it's just another. When I left, when I parted ways with him and also our drummer, we just like put our arms around each other, brought our heads in, and just like, guys, I love you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Like it was just so much love, so much just compassion and camaraderie was the word. That's right, camaraderie and brotherhood that we had, and that also just is really special too. Outside of all the people that we met, just having that with Tennyson and also our drummer Dan that joined us. But Tennyson was the whole month, and we really deepened our bond. It was just so awesome.
That was it. Ground zero. The ripples are spreading.
So much love.
So much love. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody. Glad you're here. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Bill. Much love to you too, brother. Thank you so much for all this. And I always love doing these episodes with you. It's such a blast.
Aho.
Aho.